Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of Critical Weight Theory and our show within a show called Creepy Creatures and Myths. And this time we're going to be looking at the Beast of Bladenboro, or Bladenboro, not sure how that's pronounced exactly. And, this is not going to be as dark or cinematic of a voiceover as somebody would like, perhaps. It's just me talking into a laptop microphone over here. So I'm not going to have like spooky music or whatever. It's just going to be me going over the details of this creepy creature and this myth. So, North Carolina, the winter of 1953. Picture it as that lady on the Golden Girls used to say. A small, quiet town wakes up to blood. Not a horror film. Not a myth, apparently. Apparently, the actual carnage in the story was real. And the people were real. And the fear. And apparently, there was a predator that no one could explain. And this is the Beast of Bladenboro. It started just after Christmas. Locals in Bladenboro began finding their pets and livestock dead, ripped apart, apparently. Goats mostly, their bodies drained of blood, skulls crushed, jaws snapped like twigs. Word spread fast. Something was out there hunting and stalking the landscape. Witnesses said it moved like a cat, sleek, silent, deadly, maybe luxurious, I don't know. And it was said to be 5 feet long, black as the night, panther like, they said. Some thought bobcat, others not so sure. Maybe it was Bobcat Goldthwait. I'm just kidding. I just wanted to use that term, that reference, to tie into a comedian known as Bobcat. But anyway, they said that the creature could leap great distances, apparently, and it never made a sound. The myth grew from the apparent real animal violations. So, some people say that they saw it clear as day. Maybe it had yellow eyes, big as a dog, and it moved like a shadow, and they said it got their goats. And no normal animal does what the Beast of Blandborough does. And over the course of just a few nights, the body count is said to have climbed. Dogs, cattle, goats, always the same, drained, crushed, discarded, a pattern with no known predator, and a resulting panic. The town went into full defense mode. According to the story, armed men formed hunting parties. Locals stood guard on their porches with shotguns. Typical redneck kind of stuff, but understandable under the circumstances. If I grew up in this town and we had this sort of problem, I might also be on the porch with a shotgun. It's a sort of understandable thing that they did. Out of towners rolled in with rifles, hoping for a glimpse or maybe a kill of whatever elusive beast was out on the prowl. Eventually, a local hunter shot and killed a large bobcat, and you can find the photo if you're looking for it on the Wikipedia page, apparently. Officials said case closed, but the people of Bladenboro weren't buying it. It was just too easy, too clean, and just like that, the attack stopped. So it's almost like maybe that was actually the predator in question. And some people, they said it was a coincidence. Others, they speculated there was a cover up. Or did the beast really die? So the townsfolk of Bladenboro, they could sleep easily that night as the savage creature had finally been slain, the news reports might have said in the newsreels. And that didn't stop the unsettling legend, however. If that were the end of it, we wouldn't still be talking about it 70 years later. Or at least we probably wouldn't, because the Beast of Bladenboro has taken on a second life in podcasts like this one, books, and even a local festival. Every fall, the town holds Beast Fest, keeping the legend alive. It's become part of America's cryptid canon, right alongside Bigfoot, the Chupacabra, aka the Goat Sucker, and the Mothman. So, what was it? Theory 1, an escaped exotic cat, maybe a panther or a South American predator never meant to be in rural North Carolina. Theory 2, just a very aggressive, overgrown bobcat, and a lot of fear fueled imagination linked to that particular creature. Theory 3, mass hysteria, magnified by media attention. Think Orwell's, or not Orwell, Orson Welles' War of the Worlds. And people saw what they were afraid to see. And theory 4 is that something else, a cryptid, a legend, a vampiric creature perhaps, a mystery that walked in the woods and vanished just as quickly. And maybe it never left, maybe it was never real. But in Bladenboro, the question still lingers like fog through the pines. What was the beast? So you can imagine a mysterious, unresolved chord being struck if you were to imagine music playing along to this episode. And what do you think about the Beast of Bladenboro? Is it just that bobcat? Which I'm tempted to side on that theory because often the easiest explanation is the accurate one. Or, if you want to make it more fun, you could say that it was a supernatural creature out there and maybe it was space aliens or something. I don't know. Whatever floats your boat, You do you. So, you've been listening to this episode of Critical Wade Theory and we've been talking about this creepy creature. And I'm going to do more episodes like this because I find it entertaining. Sometimes even, I'll say it, a little bit informative, actually. And if you like legends that refuse to die, feel free to follow, like, rate, like. I think I've said like already, but subscribe, whatever. Share the episode, listen to my other episodes. And if you've seen something strange in the woods, maybe don't go alone. And you can tell me about it. I'll talk about it on this podcast, perhaps. Maybe, maybe not. Depends on how I feel about the story. If it's an interesting one, especially if you have some compelling proof that you want to share of your strange experience. I know personally that some creepy things can happen. Usually they're explainable. Like I walk to work sometimes, and not far from where I happen to work, there is a wooded area, and I hear coyotes. Now, I know that they are coyotes or coyotes, as some people pronounce it. But, some people, they might not know what it is that they're hearing or what they've seen. It might make it more mysterious. But, the howling of those canine creatures out in the woods, it can be creepy, and it's even scarier if you've seen an episode of a TV show where somebody was attacked by coyotes, because that might make you want to carry around a can of mace with you in case you experience such an animal. And luckily, I've never been attacked by any sort of creature and, never got. Well, I guess I have been attacked by animals at some point, but never viciously. I never ended up in the hospital. Never got rabies or anything like that. So I've survived any time that I was, that I had a dog kind of get a little too rough with me or whatever. But the sort of legendary tale that we're talking about here, it's a little bit more than getting, you know, a, a household pet being a little bit rougher with you. So, if you've got any real fascinating stories of close calls with cryptids or supernatural thingies, you can just let me know. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe. I'm sure I'll be talking about cryptids or whatever in the future, mysterious myths, legends, what have you. Anyway, have a fantastical night or day, whatever time of day it is when you're listening to this. Bye bye.